Hi guys, and welcome to another Gas City Gaming Warhammer 40k 8th edition Codex review. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Astra Militarum Elite slot. Now this is really where your meat and potatoes units come in for your Astra Militarum army. Let's just go ahead and get started. We got a lot to cover, over 20 different options for your Elite slot for your Astra Militarum. The first of which is our Master of Ordnance. It comes in at 2 power points, or 30 points without war gear. He's equipped with las pistol and artillery barrage, both of which are free by default. So he, on his own, without any upgrades, costs 30 points. He can move 6 inches, hits on 4's weapon skill, 3's bliss skill, strength toughness 3, 3 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 6, and a 5-up save. His artillery barrage has a 100-inch range, is heavy D6, strength 8, AP -2, and D3 damage. This weapon can only be fired once per battle and cannot be used if the bearer moves. This weapon can target units that are not visible to the bearer. When doing so, subtract 1 from the hit rolls. You may only use 1 artillery barrage per turn, regardless of how many Masters of Ordnance you have in your army. Las pistol, as well as a 12-inch range, pistol 1, strength 3, AP nothing, 1 damage. He has Master of Ballistics for an ability, so you can reroll any hit rolls of 1 made for friendly regiment, basilisks, wyverns, manticores, or death strikes when they target enemy units over 36 inches away in the shooting phase if they are within 6 inches of this model. So this is going to be the guy that sits in the back with your artillery, lets them reroll their 1s, which is big. Again, we've been over that. The big thing with your Astra Militarum is just going to be all the buffs, all the dice. You're going to be re-rolling the hits, improving things like that you're going to get with your orders, and just passive abilities like this Master of Ballistics. So his faction keywords are Imperium, Astra Militarum, and Regiment. Keywords are Character, Infantry, Officer, and Master of Ordnance. So keep in mind, he's hitting on 3s of his Ballista skill. So for his heavy D6 shot thing here, the 100-inch range, hitting anything on the table, strength 8, D3 damage apiece is the big thing, subtracting 2 from that armor. So hitting a Land Raider, for example, putting its save to a 4-up, anything that it fails is D3 damage. So you can really, with a couple of Masters of Ordnance sat in the back by your artillery, drop some heavy damage for 30 points apiece. Is not too bad at all. Platoon Commander. Comes in at 2 power if you're playing power points, or 20 points with his war gear included, because las pistol and frag grenades that he's equipped with are free. He can move 6 inches, weapon skill hitting on 3s, bliss skill hitting on 3s, strength toughness 3s, 3 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 7, and a 5-up save. He has a las pistol. He can he may take a chainsword or an item from the melee weapons list, and he can replace his las pistol with an item from the range weapons list. So you can take like power sword, plasma pistol kind of thing for your platoon commander is probably one of the more popular builds. But as far as his chain sword, strength user, AP nothing, 1 damage. Each time a bear fights, it can make 1 additional attack with this weapon. Frag grenade is 6-inch range, grenade D6, strength 3, AP nothing, and 1 damage. His voice of command, so if you haven't watched our other videos, go through the HQ slot video if you want to see the orders that he can issue, as well as has a refractor field for a 5-up invuln save in addition to his 5-up armor save. Faction keywords are Imperium, Astra Militarum, and Regiment. Keywords are Character, Infantry, Officer, and Platoon Commander. So your Platoon Commander coming in at 20 points is going to be one of your cheap ways that you issue orders around the battlefield. You want to stick them next to a unit that has a Voxcaster in it, so you can make the range of your orders 18 inches rather than their default 6. Like I said, Voxcaster is 5 points, so just buy your Voxcaster for your unit. Just do it. It's going to be worth it to throw your orders out, because orders are really what help make the Astra Militarum army good, really good. Continue on down to the command squad. Now, the command squad is 6 points per model with 4 models in the unit, so 24 points, as their las guns and frag grenades are free. This unit contains 4 veterans, comes at 2 power points if you're playing power points as well. The regular veteran can move 6 inches, weapon skill hitting on 4s, bliss skill on 3s, strength toughness 3, with 1 wound, 1 attack, leadership 6, and a 5-up save. The veteran heavy weapons team comes in at movement 6 inches, weapon skill, bliss skill, hitting on 4s and 3s, strength toughness 3, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 6, and a 5-up save. So let's go down to all the different warrior options before we go over kind of their stats. Any veteran may replace their las gun with a las pistol. Any veteran with a las pistol may also take a chainsword. You can make them melee focused if you want. 1 veteran may take a Voxcaster. Do it. 1 other veteran may replace their las gun with a heavy flamer. 1 other veteran may take a regimental standard. 1 other veteran may take a medipack. 2 other veterans may form a veteran heavy weapons team, which must take an item from the heavy weapons list. Any other veteran may replace their las gun with an item from the special weapons list. So this is you can equip them however you want. I would throw in personally at least one heavy flamer, just so like if you're playing against something that wants to charge you, just so you can get that really good overwatch off. Now their abilities, the Medipack. At the end of any of your movement phases, a model with a Medipack can attempt to heal a single model. Select a friendly Astra Militarum infantry unit within 3 inches and roll a d6. On a 4-up, one model in the unit recovers a wound it lost early in the battle. If the unit has a wounds characteristic of 1, one model slain earlier in the battle is returned to the unit instead. A unit can only be the target of this ability once each turn, so you can have multiple command squads buffing back up a unit. Also has a regimental standard. All friendly regiment units add 1 to their leadership whilst they are within 6 inches of any regiment veteran with a regimental standard. So note that a Catachan banner can't benefit Cadians and vice versa. Everybody has to be the same regiment. If that's not my flag, I don't care about it, kind of thing. I also have Voxcasters for friendly officers within 3 inches of a unit with Voxcaster when using their voice of command or their system to issue orders. Ability, you may extend the range of the order to 18 inches if the target unit also contains a Voxcaster. So the more Voxcasters you have, the bigger your bubble of orders across the battlefield, and you can hopefully cover the entire table, or at least where your units are, with your ability to issue orders. Let's go back up over the weapon details a little bit more here. A heavy flamer, like I said, that I want to bring personally just to Overwatch with, is 8-inch range, heavy d6, strength 5, AP -1, and 1 damage, and automatically hits its target. We've already done las pistols, but las guns are a 24-inch range, rapid fire 1, strength 3, AP nothing, 1 damage. A chain sword, we've been over as well, and frag grenades 2. So let's move on down to see the keywords. Are Imperium, Astra Militarum, and Regiment. Keywords are infantry, veterans, and command squad. Moving right along here to a elite character. Color Sergeant Krell costs 3 power points. He also costs 50 regular points if you're playing more competitively, including his war gear. Color Sergeant Krell can move 6 inches, weapon skill and bliss skill hitting on 3s, strength and toughness 3, 4 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 7, and a 4-up save. He is a single model armed with a las pistol, power fist, and power sword. Only one of this model may be included in your army. His las pistols will be over. Power fist, however, is strength times 2, so on 6 unmodified in this case. AP -3 and D3 damage. When attacking with this weapon, you must subtract 1 from the hit roll. Power sword is strength user, AP -3 and 1 damage, but no modifiers to your hit roll. Abilities are Colors of the Cadian 8th. Friendly Cadian units within 6 inches of him may reroll failed morale tests. Listen up, maggots. You can make 1 additional order with a single friendly Cadian officer within 6 inches of Color Sergeant Krell in each of your turns. So if you want to save some points on bringing officers or things that are used to give orders, you can bring Krell and make your officer able to issue more orders just on his own. Pair that up with some Voxcasters and you're broadcasting orders while having fewer units on the table. Maybe you want to bring in more elite things like that. Swarm Protector, roll a d6 each time Lord Castellan Creed loses a wound whilst he is within 3 inches of Color Sergeant Krell. On a 2+, Lord Castellan Creed does not lose a wound, but Color Sergeant Krell suffers a mortal wound, so you can kind of jump in the way. Look out, sir, kind of almost. Faction keywords are Imperium, Astra Militarum, and Cadian. Keywords are Character, Infantry, and Color Sergeant Krell. So being that he's a character, he can't be targeted on his own unless he's the closest, 8th edition character rules. I do like this guy, like I said, in the fact that he can boost your officer and make him be able to give an additional order. And that's any friendly Cadian officer, so Lord Castellan Creed if you want to, make 1 additional order. So if Creed can issue 2 orders, 1 additional makes him able to issue 3 orders. Put a Voxcaster near him and his range goes to 18 inches. And see what I mean? How stuff in the Astra Militarum book builds and builds and builds on each other. It's pretty good if you haven't really read it in depth already. We're moving right along to our Special Weapon Squad. They come in at 2 power points. Our Special Weapon Squad, if you're playing more competitively, cost 4 points per model in a unit of 6 models. They can move 6 inches, hit on 4s, strength and toughness 3, 1 wound, 1 attacks, leadership 6, and a 5-up save. The unit contains 6 guardsmen. Each model is armed with a lasgun and frag grenades. Lasgun is 24-inch range, rapid fire 1, same thing we've gone over. Frag grenades as well. War gear options. 3 models must replace their lasgun with an item from the special weapons list, so plasma guns, flamers, things like that. Faction keywords are Imperium, Astra Militarum, and Regiment. Keywords are Infantry and Special Weapons Squad. So our Special Weapons Squad, like I said, is 24 points base, but if I want to replace, say, 3 lasguns with 3 plasma guns, plasma guns, so bliss skill of 4+ means they cost 7 points apiece, so 21 points, so 45 points for a squad of 6 with 3 plasma guns in it isn't too bad. Or say I want to bring melta guns 12 points apiece, so 36 points, plus our base of 24, so 60 points for a squad of 3 meltaguns, isn't it? It isn't too bad. Put those in a Torox, wheel them up the field, jump them out, melt something's face. So pretty good here. It's your kind of cheap Devastator squad for your special weapons squad. Good solid choice for your kind of anti-vehicle kits or anti-elite infantry, whatever you want to fill that battlefield world with your special weapons squad. Veterans cost 5 power on their own, or you can bring them in PowerPoint list. They cost 6 points per model, not including their war gear, and with 10 models in unit, so 60 points for a unit of 10. Regular veteran, moves 6 inches, hits on 4s and 3s with ballistic skill, strength 3, toughness 3, 1 wound, 1 attack, leadership 6 and a 5 up save. The sergeant, moves 6 inches, weapon skill hitting on 4s, ballistic skill on 3s, strength toughness 3, 1 wound, 2 attacks, leadership 7 and a 5 up save. And the veteran heavy weapons team moves 6 inches, hits on 4s and 3s, strength toughness 3, has 2 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 6 and a 5 up save. So unit contains 1 veteran sergeant, 9 veterans. Each veteran is armed with a las gun and frag grenades. Veteran sergeant armed with a las pistol and frag grenades. So we'll get to some of their options. Any veteran may replace their las gun with a shotgun or an auto gun. 1 veteran may take a voxcaster. 1 other veteran may replace their las gun with a heavy flamer. 2 other veterans may form a veteran heavy weapons team who must take an item from the heavy weapons list. Up to 3 other veterans may replace their las gun with an item from the special weapons list. The veteran sergeant may take a chainsword or an item from the melee weapons list. The veteran sergeant may replace their las pistol with an item from the range weapons list. So if you want a big, essentially special weapons, if you want a big specialist squad, that's what your veterans are going to do for you. We'll go over some of these weapons that we haven't seen before. An autogun is 24-inch range, rapid fire 1, strength 3, AP nothing 1 damage. A shotgun is 12-inch range, assault 2, strength 3, AP nothing 1 damage. If the target's within half range, add 1 to this weapon's strength. A chainsword and frag grenades are things we have seen before. So abilities, of course, Voxcaster. If a friendly officer is within 3 inches of a unit with a Voxcaster when using their voice of command, ability, you extend the range of the order to 18 inches if the target unit also contains a Voxcaster. Faction keywords are Imperium, Astra Militarum, and Regiment. Keywords are infantry and veterans. So like I said, these guys are the ones you want to, you can throw a heavy flamer in there to take Overwatch, to take some Overwatch shots. You can throw a heavy weapons team in there. You can throw a couple shotguns in there. You can throw up to 3 other veterans with their special weapons, so plasma guns, for example. You can throw a plasma pistol on your sergeant and really make this good. And keep in mind, if you're within certain officers, you're re-rolling 1s to hit, so you're not in near as much of danger. Or if you're issued certain orders, you're re-rolling 1s to hit, so you're not in so much of danger of rolling those 1s, just losing your guardsmen that you buffed out with upgrades. So again, you're seeing, oh, well, I don't want to bring plasma because they're all going to die because they're 1 wound and it's plasma and they're guards, so do I want to spend the points? Well, yeah, if you issue orders, you're re-rolling 1s, so less than 3% chance that model's going to die every time you roll to shoot with it. So, and don't get me wrong, that does happen, but much lesser chance. So definitely worth a look to bring some veterans teams. Basically, if you want more than a special weapons team, bring your veterans and you can have a bigger squad of them. Sergeant Harker can move power points. He costs 3 power. First of all, on his own if you're playing power. Otherwise, he costs 50 points, including his war gear. You can move 6 inches, hit on 3s, strength 4, toughness 3, 3 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 7, and a 5 up save. He's a single model armed with payback. Frag grenades and crack grenades, only 1 can be included in your army. Payback is a 36-inch range, assault 3, strength 5, AP -2, 1 damage. He has frag and crack grenades. Crack grenades, I don't know if we've seen before, but they're a 6-inch range, grenade 1, strength 6, AP -1, and D3 damage. His abilities include Harker's Hellraisers. You can reroll hit rolls of 1 in the shooting phase for friendly Catachan units within 6 inches of Sergeant Harker. So if you take your veteran squad, make them Catachans, throw Sergeant Harker nearby, their plasma's not going to roll too many 1s, really. Payback, though, it seems like a really effective ranged weapon. For 50 points, if you're bringing Catachans and you want to throw that rerolling 1s without having to use an order, because Sergeant Harker can't issue orders, but if you want to throw that reroll 1s in the middle of a couple of veteran squads, I'd take Sergeant Harker to do it, instead of needing a regular officer in order to issue those orders, because Payback seems like a pretty good weapon, because it's going to be wounding on 3s a lot and making most of your opponent's armor saves a 5 up, or worse. Faction keywords for him include Imperium, Astra Militarum, and Catachan. Keywords are Character, Infantry, and Sergeant Harker. Moving on to the Militarum Tempestus Command Squad. It is 3 power points, or if you're playing more competitive points, it's 9 points per model in a unit of 5 to 10 models, so 45 to 90 points, plus 1 point per model for your hotshot las guns, so call it 10 points per model, so 50 to 100 points for a regular squad without any upgrades. Tempestus Scions can move 6 inches, weapon skill hitting on 4s, plus skill hitting on 3s, strength 3, toughness 3, 1 wound, 1 attack, leadership 6, and a 4-up save. They have several options. One model may replace its hotshot las gun with a hotshot las pistol and voxcaster. Do it. One model may replace its hotshot las gun with hotshot las pistol and medipack. One other model may take a platoon standard. Up to 4 other models may replace hotshot las guns with a flamer, melt gun, plasma gun, grenade, launcher, or hotshot volley gun. So again, it's kind of your switchblade with a better save than your veteran squad. The grenade launcher has 2 profiles. Choose one of the weapons, one of the modes below when shooting your grenade launcher. Frag or crack grenades. They're essentially the same profile as frag or crack grenades, except with 24-inch range. Hotshot las guns, and las pistols, which I really like. The las gun is an 18-inch range, rapid fire 1, strength 3, AP -2, which is really good. 1 damage. Las pistol is a 6-inch hotshot las pistol, 6-inch range, pistol 1, strength 3, AP -2, 1 damage. Hotshot volley gun is 24-inch range, heavy 4, strength 4, AP -2, and 1 damage. Melt gun, 12-inch range, assault 1, strength 8, AP -4, d6 damage. Targets within half range of this weapon, roll 2 dice when inflicting damage with it, and discard the lowest result. So just your really heavy anti-elite infantry or anti-vehicle killer. Plasma gun, when attacking this weapon, choose one of the profiles below. Standard range is 24-inch, rapid fire 1, strength 7, AP -3, and 1 damage. Supercharge is 24-inch range, rapid fire 1, strength 8, and AP -3, and 2 damage. So you're gonna, basically, when you supercharge it, you're going to be wounding a lot of things on 2s if it's infantry, or 4s if it's some kind of vehicle, and really negating almost its entire armor save. But when you supercharge on hit roll of 1, the bearer is slain after all this weapon's shots have been resolved. That's why you want to bring, if you're bringing plasma, bring Sergeant Harker or another character, or issue orders that you reroll 1s. It reduces it from about a 16 to 17% chance that you roll a 1 to a 3% chance that you roll a 1. So really, really gets those odds, unless your plasma live longer, and you can use supercharge a lot more freely. Frag and crack grenades we've seen before. Abilities. They have aerial drop. During deployment, you can set up this unit in a high altitude transport ready to deploy via grav shoot instead of placing it on the battlefield. At the end of enemy movement phases, the unit can make an aerial drop set up anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches away from any enemy models. They have a platoon standard, so all Militarum Tempestus units within 6 inches of any friendly units with a platoon standard may add 1 to their leadership when taking morale tests. Medipack, we've seen before, can be worth it. Voxcaster as well, just do it. So imagine that, your enemy has some heavy tank in the background, in the back of the field. You drop your squad back there, say with 4 plasma guns, supercharged, fire at them. You're within rapid fire range, so each model is firing 2 shots, so 8 shots, re-rolling 1s, hitting on 3s, AP -3, wounding on probably 3s or 4s, if it's a vehicle, wounding on 2s if it's... wounding on 2s if it's an infantry, probably. -3 to its armor save, possibly re-rolling wounds if you issued this unit orders. Again, see, it's not just, okay, vanilla on its own, yeah, whatever, but you start stacking these with buffs and +1 to hit, and re-rolling hits, re-rolling wounds with orders. It gets real good. Faction keywords are Imperium, Astra Militarum, Militarum Tempestus. Keywords are infantry, then Tempestus Command Squad. The Ministorum Priest costs 2 power points. If you're playing more competitively, it costs 35 points. He can move 6 inches, hit on 4, strength 3, toughness 3, 4 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 7 and a 6-up save. It's a single model armed with a las pistol, frag, and crack grenades, which are all free. This model may take an autogun, and this model may take a chainsword. Autogun, we've been over all those weapons. The abilities are Zealot, so you can reroll failed hit rolls for this unit in a turn in which it charged, made a heroic intervention, or was charged by an enemy unit. Kind of like the old Zealot rule. Zealot rule has a Rosarius for a 4-up invuln save, and War Hymns. You can add 1 to the attack characteristic of all models in Adeptus Ministorum infantry and Astra Militarum infantry units that are within 6 inches of any friendly Ministorum priests. So it just drives their frenzy kind of thing. So within 6 inches, you get more attacks, which is good. Again, unless you're playing with like Ogryns or Bullgryns or something like that, or you made a really focused melee squad, you probably don't necessarily want to be charging a whole lot if you are playing guard, Astra Militarum, not guard, whatever. But can be a good bonus, and the Zealot is good. He's going to stick around a lot because he has a 4-up invuln save, so he's just not going to take half the wounds, unless they're mortal wounds he's taken from a psyker of some kind. Anyway, faction keywords are Imperium, Astra Militarum, and Adeptus Ministorum. Keywords are Character, Infantry, and Ministorum Priest. Moving on to our Crusaders. They cost 2 power points, or 11 points per model, in a unit of 2 to 10 of them. So it contains 2 Crusaders. It contains up to 2 additional for +1 power, 4 additional for +2 power, 6 additional for +3, 8 additional +4. Each Crusader is armed with a power sword. So power swords, if we were wondering, cost 4 points per model. So call it 15 points per model. So 30 to 150. So this is going to be, again, your Crusaders are probably going to pair up with your Priest to let them add an attack and let them reroll. Power sword, you'd over strength user AP -3/1 damage. Acts of Faith, roll a d6 at the start of each of your turns. On a roll of 2+, 1 unit from your army with this ability can perform an act of faith chosen from the following list. Hand of the Emperor. The unit can immediately move as over the movement phase. Now, this is at the start of your turn, so before the movement phase, when the start of your turn abilities take effect. Divine Guidance, the unit can immediately shoot as if it were the shooting phase. The Passion, the unit can, if it is within 1 inch of an enemy unit, immediately pile an attack as if it were the fight phase. Spirit of the Martyr, 1 model in the unit recovers D3 lost wounds, or you can return a single slain model to the unit with 1 wound remaining. Shield of Faith, those are all the acts of faith. So if you go back and watch the orders, there's an order you can issue in the beginning of the shooting phase that lets you pile in an attack as if it were the fight phase. So with this unit here, if they're engaged, you can issue the Passion. So on a roll 2+, 1 of your unit from your army with the ability, this has the ability, can perform an act of faith. So you can, at the beginning of your turn, you can pile in and fight. In the shooting phase, you can pile in and fight. And then, of course, in the fight phase, you can pile in and fight as well. So you can attack 3 times in 1 turn with this unit pretty easily. That seems really good with power swords. Yes, strength 3, but whatever. You're going to get 3 attack phases with it. If you throw the Priest in there with it, they're going to be adding an attack. So they're going to get 3 attacks apiece with power swords. That's real good. I don't see anything wrong with that. So if you want a melee unit in your guard list, like I said, this is going to be it, but most guard lists aren't going to do that. Again, I'm not saying you never will or won't or don't do it. I've never actually played guard myself, and just from my experience, but most guard lists don't want to get up in your face and start trading blows. Shield of Faith. Models in this unit have a 6-up invuln save. In addition, this unit can attempt to deny 1 psychic power in each enemy's psychic phase in the same manner as a psyker. However, if it does so, instead of rolling 2d6, only roll a single d6. Psychic power resisted is if the roll is greater than the result of the psychic test that manifested it. When attempting to deny psychic power, first select a model in the unit, measure range, visibility, etc. from this model. So it's kind of the Brotherhood of Psyker rule. Pick 1 model, so then if that guy is going to die or what have you. Zealot, so you can reroll failed hit rolls for a unit with this ability in a turn in which it charged, made a heroic intervention, or was charged by an enemy unit. Storm Shield, models in this unit have a 3-up invuln save. Why does it list Storm Shield? Are they able to take a Storm Shield? It doesn't say anywhere that they're equipped or armed with a power sword, but it also just says that, I don't know why it says that. Anyway, faction keywords are Imperium, Astra Militarum, and Adeptus Ministorum. Keywords are Infantry and Crusaders. Moving on to our Tech Priest Enginseer. Tech Priest Enginseer, I'll get it right eventually. Costs 2 power points for a single model, armed with an Omniscion Axe, Last Pistol, and Servo Arm. Tech Priest Enginseer costs 30 points, plus, the Omniscion Axe is a melee weapon, so it's free. Actually, a Last Pistol is free, and a Servo Arm is 12 points. So it's 42 points for a Tech Priest Enginseer. All equipped out with everything he needs. His Last Pistol, moves 6 inches, hits on 4s, strength 4, toughness 4, 4 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 8, and a 3-up save. So pretty much Space Marine stat line that doesn't hit as good, but pretty good. Omniscion Axe is strength +1, strength 5, so wounding a lot of things on 3s, AP -2 and 2 damage apiece. Servo Arm is strength ×2, AP -2, strength 8, AP -2, and 3 damage apiece. Each servo arm can only be used to make one attack each time this model fights. When a model attacks this weapon, you must subtract 1 from the hit roll. So you can choose to make all your attacks with your Omniscient Axe if you like, rather than your servo arm. But if you're attacking a vehicle, you might want to use the servo arm instead, but you are then hitting on 5s. Abilities are Bionics. This model has a 6-up invuln save. He's the master of machines. At the end of your movement phase, this model can repair a single friendly Forge World vehicle, Astra Militarum vehicle, or Questor Mechanicus model within 3 inches. If the model being repaired is a Forge World or Astra Militarum model, it regains D3 lost wounds. If it is a Questor Mechanicus model, it regains 1 lost wound. A model may not be the target of the Master of Machines ability more than once per turn, so if you bring a bunch of enginseers, they can't just crowd around a vehicle and keep healing it. Designer's note: when selecting this unit for your army, choose which Forge World it will be from. This replaces the Forge World keyword in all instances on this data sheet. Faction keywords are Imperium, Astra Militarum, Cult Mechanicus, and Forge World. Keywords are Character, Infantry, and Tech Priest Enginseer. If I'm bringing this guy, he's sitting in the back repairing some vehicles that happen to get shot at. Other than that, if those vehicles get charged, he might then charge in and start swinging around with his axe. Because hitting on 4s or wounding on 3s, -2 to their armor save, is going to kill some stuff. So he's probably going to sit back. For 42 points, though, repairing D3 lost wounds is definitely a thing, because you take a couple wounds off your vehicle, he can just negate that totally. So if I'm bringing a armor-heavy list, and I have, say, 100 points left over to spare, throw a couple of these guys in there, and they're going to do some work for you. Servitors are 3 power points. As far as more competitive points-wise, they are 2 points per model, with 4 in the unit. Each is armed with a servo arm, which is 12 points, so they are actually 14 points per model times 4, so 56 points for the unit. They move 5 inches, hit on 5, strength toughness 3, 1 wound, 1 attack, leadership 6, and a 4-up save. Up to 2 models in the unit of 4 may replace their servo arm with a heavy bolter, plasma cannon, or multi-melta. The heavy bolter is a 36-inch range, heavy 3, strength 5, AP -1, 1 damage. Multi-melta is 24-inch range, heavy 1, strength 8, AP -4, D6 damage. Targets within half range, roll 2 dice when inflicting damage, and discard the lowest. Plasma cannon has 2 profiles, choose 1 when firing. Standard is 36-inch range, heavy D3, strength 7, AP -3, and 1 damage. Supercharge is 36-inch range, heavy D3, strength 8, AP -3, and 2 damage. On a roll of 1, the bearer is slain after the shots have been resolved. Servo arm is the same as the enginseer. So if you want to, basically you can, we'll go over their abilities first. Mind Lock, Servitors improve both their weapon skill and bliss skill to a 4+, and their leadership to 9, whilst they are within 6 inches of any friendly tech priests. A designer's note: when selecting this unit for your army, choose which Forge World it will be from. This replaces the Forge World keyword in all instances on this datasheet. So if you want to bring them alongside tech priests, that would be the only time I'm bringing them, because I don't want my heavily invested weapons hitting on 5s. And even they're hitting on 4s. I'm not a big fan for the cost. They're just not doing what I want to do. Their faction keywords are Imperium, Astra Militarum, Adeptus Mechanicus, and Forge World. Keywords are Infantry and Servitors. Going on to our Elite Commissar. He can move, he's 2 power points. He costs 30 points on his own. His bolt pistol, I believe, costs 1 point. Yeah, 1 point. So total, he is 31 points as equipped. He moves 6 inches, hits on 3, strength toughness 3, 3 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 8, and a 5-up save. His bolt pistol is a 12-inch range pistol, strength 4, AP nothing, 1 damage. It can take up to 2 items from the melee weapons list. It can replace your bolt pistol with an item from the ranged weapons list. So, again, my standard build, plasma pistol, power sword being 4 points, plasma pistol being 5 points, so 9, plus the Commissar, so 39 points is my standard build for most of my sergeant or officer type characters. Abilities: Aura of Discipline. Astra Militarum units within 6 inches of the Commissar can use their Commissar's leadership instead of their own, so leadership 8 instead of mostly 6. Summary Execution. Astra Militarum units within 6 inches of a friendly Commissar can never lose more than in 1 model as a result of any single failed morale test, as he just leans over and shoots one. Faction keywords are Imperium, Astra Militarum, Officio Perfectus. Keywords are Character, Infantry, and Commissar. So, if you want to spread around I might personally bring the Officer Commissar, or the Lord Commissar, sorry, instead of the regular one, unless you're on a limit. Sorry, unless you're on a limit of to how many HQ slots you have, and you're kind of limited there. But the only reason I'm bringing this Commissar is if I need that leadership buff across the army, or I'm playing another ranged army, and I really want my infantry to hold out. I don't want them to run away because they're being shot at. Then I'm going to bring the Commissar. But other than that, probably not. Officer of the Fleet has 2 power points, or if you're playing more competitively, he is 25 points on his own as he is equipped. He moves 6 inches, weapon skill hitting on 4s, skill skill hitting on 3s, strength and toughness 3, 3 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 6 and a 5 up save. His abilities include air raid requested. Once per battle, in your shooting phase, you can pick an enemy unit other than a character that is visible to this model anywhere on the battlefield, and then roll a d6. On roll 1 to 3, nothing happens. On roll 4 or 5, the target unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. On roll 6, the target suffers 3 mortal wounds. You may only call in 1 air raid per turn, regardless of the number of officers of the fleet. Strafing coordinates. At the start of the shooting phase, pick an enemy unit other than one which can fly, within 18 inches of this model. For the duration of the phase, you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for any friendly Aeronautica Imperialis units that can fly that target the unit you picked. So you pick a model on the ground, short way of that, as long as it doesn't have the fly keyword, you can target it. That's as long as he's within. You can target an enemy unit as long as he does not have the fly keyword and is within 18 inches of the officer of the fleet. For the duration of this phase, basically your flyers, your Aeronautica Imperialis that can fly, units that can fly that target the unit you picked, reroll hit rolls of 1. So if it's if it's a character or a tank that you really just need to get gone now, you can make your flyers essentially reroll your 1s while shooting at it. Faction keywords are Imperium, Astra Militarum, and Aeronautica Imperialis. Keywords are character, infantry, officer, and officer of the fleet. So I do like the air raid. Essentially, it's kind of like a mini psychic power, 50-50 shot of it going off and causing either D3 or 3 mortal wounds. That's not nothing. Once per battle, in your shooting phase, pick an enemy unit. So that's not nothing. Let's see, the officer of the fleet, though, how many points did we say he was? 25 points. Strafing coordinates, if you bring more than 2, if you bring 3 flyers, I think strafing coordinates starts to be with it, but that's pretty flyer heavy. So officer of the fleet has its uses, but the fact that I have to be within 18 inches of whatever I want to shooting at, that means it's probably already shooting at the officer of the fleet. Because yeah, it's a little expensive for what it does for my tastes. But again, I'm not an Astra Militarum player. Maybe you have strategies where this would be come in handy and you're super pumped to see this guy in 8th. What do you think? If you disagree with any of the points I've brought up so far or will be bringing up, please let me know in the comment section down below. Because again, not a Militarum player. Would love to hear from those of you that are. Wyrdvane psykers cost 1 power point or 8 points per model in a unit of 3 to 9. Each is equipped with a last pistol and a Wyrdvane stave, which costs us just free. So yeah, they are, 8 points in a unit of 3 to 9. 1 power point, the unit contains 3 psykers. It contains up to 3 additional for +1 power, or 6 additional for +2 power. Each is armed with a last pistol and Wyrdvane stave. They can move 6 inches, weapon skill hitting on 5s, skill hitting on 4s, strength and toughness 3, 1 wound, 1 attack, leadership 7 and a 6 up save. Last pistols we've seen before, but our Wyrdvane stave is strength +1, AP nothing, 1 damage, so it turns into strength 4. Choir of Minds, each time you take a psychic test or deny the witch test for this unit, roll 1d6 instead of 2. You can add 1 to the psychic test you make for this unit if it has 3 or more models, or 2 if it has 6 or more models. Psyker, so you can attempt to manifest 1 power in each friendly psychic phase, attempt to deny 1 in each enemy psychic phase, it knows smite and 1 power from Psychana discipline. When manifesting or denying psychic power, first select a model within the unit, measure range, visibility, etc. from this model. If this unit suffers perils of the warp, it suffers D3 mortal wounds, as are described in the core rules, but units within 6 inches will only suffer damage if perils of the warp causes the last model in the manifesting unit to be slain. So if I have 1 Wyrdvane psyker left, I perils, he has 1 wound left, I rolled 3 for my D3 wounds, but I have a guard unit nearby, or a regular squad, infantry squad nearby. Those extra 2 wounds would kill 2 models from that unit and roll over like that. Faction keywords are Imperium, Astra Militarum, and Astra Telepathica, Scholastica, Psychana. Keywords are infantry, psyker, and Wyrdvane psykers. So they're your cheap little throwaway smite units. If you want to do that in your Imperial list, go for it. But like I said, it's usually armor or body spam is what I've seen in the past when I play Astra Militarum. Play against Astra Militarum, I should say. Moving on to our Astropath. Is 1 power point or 15 points, not including its war gear. It's armed with a Telepathica stave. Costs 6 points, so he costs 21 points as he is equipped. And he has 1 power point on his own. He can move 6 inches, hits on 5 weapon skill, 6 bliss skill, strength and toughness 3, 3 wounds, 1 attack, leadership 6, and a 6-up save. An Astropath is a single armed with a Telepathica stave. It is a melee weapon, strength +1, and D3 damage. So strength 4 with D3 damage, so it's slightly better than the Wyrdvane stave. Abilities are Astral Divination. At the start of your shooting phase, pick an enemy unit within 18 inches of this model. For the duration of that phase, the unit you picked gains no bonus to their saving throws for being in cover when it is targeted by attacks made by friendly Astra Militarum units within 6 inches of this model. Telepathic Assault. Each time you take a psych test for this unit, when it attempts to manifest Smite, roll 1d6 instead of 2d6. So you can't Smite spam as easily. Psyker, it can attempt to manifest 1 power, attempt to deny 1 power, and no Smite and 1 other power from the Psychana discipline. So again, this is the kind of Psykers you're going to get unless you bring special characters from other portions of the army. But again, this is not what I've seen. Even with Astral Divination, the enemy unit has to be within 18 inches, so this means I'm getting assaulted, probably, for most guard units. And this guy has to be within 6 inches of any units that get that bonus. So yes, he could kind of project a bubble. Say, okay, that thing, you 2 squads that I'm in between, you 2 guys get bonuses. He won't get that saving throw when you 2 guys make your shooting attacks. But I'd rather bring some better weapons or something else. Again, the Psyker for these I haven't seen a lot. Doesn't mean they're never used, just means I haven't seen them. I don't know about you guys, but not what I usually see in my Astra Militarum lists that I'm up against. Faction keywords are Imperium, Astra Militarum, Astra Telepathica, Scholastica Psychana. Keywords are Character, Infantry, Psyker, and Astropath. We have the Ogryn Bodyguard. It costs 4 power points. It is a single model armed with a Ripper Gun, a huge knife, and frag bombs. It costs 4 power points on its own, or 55 units without war gear. Its Ripper Gun, so 55 points plus its Ripper Gun. Ripper Gun is free. A huge knife is free. And frag bombs, not frag grenades. Frag bombs are also free. So 55 points for an Ogryn Bodyguard. Move 6 inches. Weapon skill hitting on 3s, bliss skill hitting on 4s. Strike damage is 5, 6 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 8, and a 5-up save. It has a its model may replace its Ripper Gun with a Grenadier Gauntlet or Bullgryn Maul. This model may replace its huge knife with a Slab Shield or Brute Shield. This model may take Bullgryn Plate. So its Grenadier Gauntlet is a 12-inch range, Assault D6, Strength 4, AP nothing, 1 damage. Its Ripper Gun in Shooting is a 12-inch range, Assault 3, Strength 5, AP nothing, 1 damage. Its Bullgryns Maul is Strength +2, AP -1, 2 damage. The Huge Knife is Strength User, AP -1, 2 damage. Its Ripper Gun in Melee is Strength User, AP -1, 1 damage. A Frag Bomb is 6-inch range, Grenade D6, Strength 4, AP nothing, 1 damage, so basically 1 stronger than a Frag Grenade. Its abilities are Avalanche of Muscle. You can add 1 to the attack characteristic of this model in the fight phase on any turn in which it made a successful charge. This ability may only be used the first time this model fights each turn. A Brute Shield gives a model equipped with it a 4-up invuln save. Bullgryns Plate model with this has a save characteristic of 4+. It's not just an invuln, but it's a regular save characteristic. A Bodyguard special rule means that roll a d6 each time a friendly Astra Militarum character loses a wound whilst they are within 3 inches of this model. On a 3-up, the character does not lose a wound, but this model suffers a mortal wound. In addition, this model may not be selected as your Warlord and may not be given a Warlord trait. If it has a Slab Shield, add 2 to any save rolls for a model equipped with a Slab Shield. Let's see. So yeah, you can't take your Slab Shield and Brute Shield, so you can't give 2-ups that way. But there is a way with Bullgryns, I believe, St. Celestine has something to do with it, in which you can get them a 2-up invuln save. And it's gross, because they're Bullgryns with a 2-up invuln save, and it's gross. Moving on, though, faction keywords are Imperium, Astra Militarum, Militarum Auxilia. Keywords are Character, Infantry, Ogryn, and Ogryn Bodyguards. So 55 points for a pretty good little tank. If you have an iffy character, maybe a slightly weaker character that you're worried about getting charged, or you're playing against a very chargy army like Nids or something, or Khorne, Chaos Space Marines, or Khorne Demons, I would stick this guy near that character and keep him there, because this guy's going to mow through a lot for you, I think. Especially if you give him, that Bullgryn plate and Brute Shield, so 4 up, 4 up. Even just with his base weapons, you don't necessarily even have to give him a Bullgryn Maul. Might just keep the Ripper Gun, because in shooting it's strength 5. In melee it's strength 5, AP -1, so it's fine just even on his own for 55 points, really. Ogryns are 5 power points for a unit containing a 1 bonehead, and 2 Ogryns. So it's 5 power points, or, if you're playing more competitively, 30 points per model in a unit of 3 to 9. May contain up to 3 additional Ogryns for 4 additional power, or 6 additional for 8 more power. Each model is armed with a Ripper Gun and Frag Bombs, which we've seen are free. They have Avalanche Muscle, so you can add 1 to the attack characteristic unit in the fight phase on any turn in which may successful charge. This ability may only be used the first time this unit fights each turn. So it checks, did you charge? Yes. Is the first time you're fighting this turn? Yes. Okay, you get +1 attack, making your regular Ogryns 4 attacks and your Bonehead 5. Speaking of, let's mention their stat lines. The Ogryn and the Bonehead both move 6 inches, weapon skilling on 3s, ballistic skilling on 4s, strength 5, toughness 5, 3 wounds. Regular Ogryns have 3 attacks, leadership 7 and a 5 up save, whereas the Bonehead has 4 attacks, leadership 8 and a 5 up save. Your standard buffs for your sergeant type character. I like these Ogryns, but personally I want to bring the Bullgryns. For me, despite there being more, if I'm going to bring a melee unit, they're going to be an effective freaking melee unit. We're going to bring some Bullgryns, which is what we're going to see here. Now, I just wanted to point out this quote. This is a really good quote when you're building a militarum army, in my opinion, so let's check this out. In any army, balance is the key to success. A commander who puts his faith in heavy weaponry alone will be outmaneuvered. A commander who relies on close combat without support will lose his force to enemy fire. Each element must work in harmony so that the effectiveness of the army is greater than the sum of its parts. So if you just stick up tanks with no support of any kind, they're going to get killed by anti-vehicle stuff. You just stick out infantry with no support for any kind of them, they're going to get chewed through. So especially in your militarum armies, they're a very strategic army. It's not just hammer. It's not just, a board full of berserkers. They have their one thing they're going to do, and they're going to do it well. This is very much, like we said, for some units, they're going to be the Swiss Army knife. Your army has to be a Swiss Army knife, able to move and function and be very flexible on the battlefield. So this quote I found really proper for the Astra Militarum. Anyway, let's get to our Bullgryns. For 7 power points, you get a unit of 1 Bonehead and 2 Bullgryns. And for more power-wise folks, it's 35 points per model for a unit of 3 to 9 models. So again, 105 points up to 305 math. So the Bullgryn and the Bonehead both all move 6 inches, weapon skilling on 3s, ballistic skill on 4s. Strength 5, toughness 5, 3 wounds. The Bullgryn has 3 attacks, leadership 7 and a 4 up save. The Bonehead has 4 attacks, leadership 8 and a 4 up save. It can contain 3 additional Bullgryns for 6 more power, or 6 additional for 12 more power. Each model is armed with a Grenadier Gauntlet and frag bombs, and equipped with a slab shield. So this one's going to be a little bit more. The slab shield is free. The Grenadier Gauntlet is 10 points, so it's going to be 45 points a model, because that's what they come equipped with. Any model may place the Grenadier Gauntlet with a Bullgryn Maul. Bullgryn Maul is 7 points. You can make them a little cheaper that way if you just want them to be melee, which I certainly couldn't really argue with. So that might be the way you want to go with that. Any model replaces slab shield with a brute shield. The brute shields, like I said, give the model 4 up invuln save. That's the way you want to go with it, in my opinion. The brute shield costing 0 points, so switch right over that and get that invuln save. Why not? Slab shield, add 2 to the save rolls of any models equipped with a slab shield. So if you give them a slab shield, they have 2 up invuln save. If you give them a brute shield, they have a 4 up invuln save. A slab shield, gives them a 2 up armor save, because it's 4 plus an additional 2 to the save rolls, so it essentially gives them a 2 up, right? Avalanche of Muscle, so you can add 1 of the attacks characteristic and fight phase on any turn in which it made successful charge. This ability may only be used once for the first time this unit fights each turn. So like I said, these guys with a Bullgryn Maul, how I've seen them used before is actually taking a unit of 6, or a unit of 4, or an even number, and then divided evenly between slab shield and brute shields. With Saint Celestine, and I forget the exact combination, but there was basically a combo where the guy had, some of them had 2 up armor saves, and some of them with 2 up invuln saves. And he staggered them in such a way that, I'm going to take this on the invuln guy, 2 up 2, but I'm going to take this on the armored guy, 2 up, 2 up, 2 up. So it was gross. Oh my goodness. They eventually died through multiple uses of like smite and heavy AP weapons for the other guys, but it was, oh my goodness, it was gross. Anyway, faction keywords are Imperium, Astra Militarum, and Militarum Auxilia. Keywords are Infantry, Ogryn, and Bullgryns. So like I said, if I want to bring a melee unit, I want to bring the effective melee unit, and that's what these guys are. If you want to do that in your list, like I said, with that special build for the 2-up invuln saves with these guys, that's really effective. It did some work on tabletop. I don't know if the player playing guard won that game, but it was really just gross to see. I can appreciate it. I would love to play with it. One of those things. You love to play with it, you hate to play against it. And anything like that means it's good. So moving on to Nork Deddog. Has 4 power points on his own. This is kind of our Ogryn character. Nork Deddog is 4 power points, or 80 points, including his war gear. You can move 6 inches. Weapon skill hitting on 3s, blood skill hitting on 4s. Strength and toughness 5. 6 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 8, and a 4-up save. Single wall, armed with a ripper gun, huge knife, and frag bombs. He can also deliver a thunderous headbutt. Only one of this model can be included in your army. So we have all the stats. We'll go for the rest of his weapons, but we'll go over the thunderous headbutt. It's a melee attack, obviously. If it's ranged, that'd be weird. His strength plus 3, so strength 8. So that's a big thing. It's going to be wounding a lot of infantry on 2s and vehicles on 4s or better. AP negative 2, D3 damage. Nork can only make a single thunderous headbutt attack each time he fights. Abilities include Avalanche of Muscle, so when he charges, you essentially get a free Edbutt attack. I don't know why it's not called Edbutt. It's like you get bone eds, but this isn't called Thunderous Edbutt. Anyway, Avalanche of Muscle. You can add 1 attack characteristic of this model, a fight phase in which you made a successful charge. This ability can only be used once. We've been over that. Heroic Sacrifice. If Nork Deddog is slain in the fight phase, you can immediately fight with him before removing this model as a casualty, even if he has already been chosen to fight this phase. This is pretty good. Loyal till the end, roll a d6 each time a friendly Astra Militarum character loses a wound whilst within 3 inches of him. On a 2-up, the Astra Militarum character does not lose a wound, but Nork suffers a mortal wound. An additional Nork may not be selected as your warlord and not be given a warlord trait. That's why I want to bring Nork here instead of my Ogryn bodyguard. I'd rather spend the extra points and get this guy. Faction keywords are Imperium, Astra Militarum, Militarum Auxilia. Keywords are character, infantry, Ogryn, and Nork Deddog. So like I said, this is the guy I would bring rather than the Ogryn bodyguard. And I believe, do we have any more? Oh, Ratlings, I think, is our last one. So let's go over Ratlings. Ratlings kind of little scout snipers, if you're not sure what a Ratling is. But I like them, they're pretty cool. So Ratlings cost 2 power points, or 5 points per model for a unit of 5 to 10. But their sniper rifles cost 2 units each. Each model is armed with a sniper rifle, so essentially there's 7 points a model. So 35 points for a unit of 5, 70 for a unit of 10. So it costs 2 power points, contains 5 Ratlings. It can maintain up to 5 additional for 1 power rating. Each model is armed with a sniper rifle. They move 5 inches, weapon skilling of 5s, blood skilling on 3s, strength 2, toughness 2, 1 wound, 1 attack, leadership 5, and a 6-up save. Sniper rifle is 36-inch range, heavy 1, strength 4, AP nothing, 1 damage. A model firing a sniper weapon can target an enemy character even if they are not the closest enemy unit. If you roll a wound roll of 6 for this weapon, it inflicts a mortal wound in addition to its normal damage. Abilities are Find the Best Spot. Instead of deploying normally, this unit may wait until both armies are fully deployed and then be placed anywhere on the board that is more than 18 inches from any enemy models. So if your opponent, if you're playing in the quadrant deployment pattern, you can really sneak these up into completely different control and objective that it's in no man's land. That can come in really handy that way. They have Shoot, Sharp, and Scarper. Immediately after making a shooting attack, that's hard to say. Immediately after making a shooting attack, other than firing Overwatch, this unit can move as if it were the movement phase, though it cannot advance as part of this move. So, make fire, retreat back out of sight. Use your move. Granted, they are heavy, but you can then move back into place, hitting on 4s, shoot, move back out of sight. So pretty good that way. They're also naturally stealthy. This is their big roll. Models in this unit receive a +2 bonus to their saving throw when they receive the benefits of cover instead of a +1. So if they're in cover with their naturally stealthy roll, so they have a 6-up save, +2 in cover, so they'll be getting a 4-up save in cover. So that's pretty good, unless they're getting shot with a lot of heavy AP stuff, or a lot of heavy D6, etc., etc. Faction keywords are Imperium, Astra Militarum, and Militarum Auxilia. Keywords are infantry and Ratlings. So I wouldn't, for 35 points, bring in 7 points a model. For 35 to 70 points, I'd bring a squad or two of these guys just to see how they do. Maybe help pick off a little weaker character or weaker psych or something like that. Be pretty good. I don't want to try them. I can see them being very ineffective. Like, they're easily removed. Their toughness 2. Save is going to be 4 up, hopefully. But I think for the 35 points or maybe 70 points if you want to bring a couple units, it might be worth trying at least. They're usually objective holder, 36-inch range means they're going to have really good range over a lot of stuff. I can try and pick off a couple wounds here and there. The wound roll of 6 being a mortal wound is good. You issue an order to them where they can reroll wounds. They get pretty good, so I wouldn't mind trying a unit or two of Ratlings for sure. Depends on your build, but I try a unit or two of them, see how you like them. And that, I believe, yep. We'll finish off on the Ratlings. So, like we said at the beginning of the video, really meat and potatoes of your Astra Militarum unit is going to be your elite slot. So decide what you want to bring. You're going to be bringing that elite detachment a lot and get some command points through that for sure. But what do you guys think? What are you excited to play with? What are you not excited to play against if you don't play Astra Militarum? Would love to hear you from me down in the comment section below. As always, please like, share, subscribe. I would love to have more people watching these videos, getting to know Gas City Gaming and what we're all about. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope to see you guys watch the rest of these videos. And again, have an awesome rest of your day. And remember, as always, the Emperor protects.